Dave Gentry, Elizabeth Hess, and congressional candidate Rodney Davis with us this morning. Glad to have you with us.
Well, thank you, David. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You know, your opponents have been helping you out quite a bit. All the TV ads they've been running with your name and your picture on there, you're getting more name recognition.
Well, yeah.
And more photo recognition than you've had. So, I mean, they're really bailing you out there, I think. One of the big discussions that we'd had earlier with several people talking about this race was, even though he's been in the race and lost it a few times, that David Gill had more name recognition. But now that the ads are starting to come in from elsewhere, your mug is all over the place. And I want to bring up something. Tom Kasich had this in his column over the weekend, too. They're trying to associate you with George Ryan. What exactly was your role of working for former Governor Ryan? He wasn't even governor. Would you work for him, wasn't it?
No. You know, it's time for the season to start. It's time for the negative ads, and I think I've been somewhat like Chicken Little, saying this race, even during the whole nomination process, was going to be a nationally targeted race, and people poo-pooed it, saying David Gill, because he's a three-time loser, there's no way he's going to provide any challenge to any of the candidates. Well, you know what? The fact that he lost was because he had a much different district, too. It was a much more Republican district.
The old 15th.
This district, the old 15th. This district, I've said all along, has been it's a target for national Democrats, and it's the way that Nancy Pelosi can return to the Speaker's chair. Now, this is going to be a multi-million-dollar race. Hundreds of thousands of dollars are already being used against me. You're right. They're boosting my name ID up. Have you seen our ads?
Yeah, I have.
What do you think of that?
You know, as political ads go, I think it's pretty strong.
Well, thank you. I think it's a stark contrast in how to start a campaign. Our ad is a positive ad introducing myself to people. His ad is an ad that is negative, and unfortunately, it's not true. And you mentioned it. I never worked for Governor George Ryan. Actually, right out of college, 20 years ago, I got accepted to be a year-long fellow with the Illinois Secretary of State's office.
So you were with the Secretary of State's office. How much personal contact would you have had with George Ryan at that time, I suppose?
Virtually none.
You suppose he even knows your name? Maybe now, but in those days?
No. I wasn't getting phone calls asking for policy decisions at the Illinois Secretary of State's office as a year-long fellow. But, you know, this is the stuff that we expect. We expect negativity because they don't want to talk about the issues. They know we're right on the issues of lower taxes. They know we're right on the issues of controlling spending and attacking the national debt and repealing and replacing Obamacare. So instead, they want to make things up and attack me.
So the Democrats are throwing money into this race. Are the Republicans? Do you think the National Party will throw any your way to try to hang on to this seat?
Oh, absolutely. And I think we're in a great position to do so.
And that brings me to the perfect question of, we're in 2 months of negative ads, it feels, from here on out. I hope that your positive message is heard. As a voter, I want to know that once this is all out of the way, what are the first things you're going to do? First 60 days, what are you going to focus on?
Well, the first 60 days is immediately we're going to extend the current tax rates permanently. I'm going to be the leading advocate in Washington to do that. I've been in here talking about this, and I'll continue to talk about it until Democrats and Republicans can work together.
So you're saying across the board?
Across the board. You know, extend the current tax. Give the businesses a certainty, Dave. You know, we need to ensure that we always hear about politicians talking about jobs and job creation. Well, politicians don't create jobs, and government doesn't create private sector jobs, but the private sector needs certainty to be able to invest in people. And when they do, that's how you get jobs. I mean, it's a simple equation. And I also want to make sure we pass a comprehensive farm bill. And I'll be there fighting Republicans and Democrats to make sure that our interests here in central and southwestern Illinois are heard.
What did you learn from working under John Shimkus for so long? What's something you're going to bring to Washington?
You know, I'm going to be able to hit the ground running. Yeah, I'm somebody who understands the federal bureaucracy. I think the hits that I take negatively for being somebody who's worked in government for 16 years for the federal government are a positive for me. I think that allows me the opportunity to set up a top-notch constituent service operation that I've been a part of already for 16 years for Mr. Shimkus. We've helped countless constituents break through the bureaucratic red tape of Washington, help them out with IRS issues, with Medicare issues, with Social Security issues, and also helping communities find ways to partner with the federal government to do things that the federal government should do.
Gil's focus seems to be on health care. Where are you going to come down on Obamacare, for lack of a better term?
Oh, this is a great contrast. I'm a repeal and replace guy. I think Obamacare is a $2.6 trillion boondoggle. I think it cedes control of where and when to seek medical treatment to an extensive bureaucracy that we have yet to understand what it truly will encompass. I want to repeal the bill. I think that the Supreme Court punted. I was surprised by their decision, which means we have to repeal it. We repeal it, and then how do we replace it? We still have to have a healthcare safety net. I mean, that's the issue, and that's the target that we need to attack, and we can do it in a lot less than $2.6 trillion, and also ensure that those who are uninsured, underinsured, and underserved get the primary care access they need to stay out of the emergency rooms, which costs all of us when they use them.
Do you think that's going to be the main sticking point between you and David Gill?
I hope.
In this race?
I sure hope so.
Don't you think that the vice presidential nominee is going a little far with the voucher program, though? Or do you align your beliefs on that for Medicare?
Are you talking about
healthcare in general? Paul Ryan, yes. How do you agree with him?
The other side, Gill and the Democrats have been trying to box me in on this Paul Ryan issue since I became a candidate. I mean, it was 5 seconds after I got the nomination on May 19th. To replace Congressman Johnson on the ballot. They start trying to hit me and have video camera folks follow me all around asking me questions. So this is part of the gamesmanship. And Elizabeth, I'll tell you, Paul Ryan's plan was just that, a plan. Mm-hmm. What I can address is what is law, and that's a 2,700-page boondoggle called the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. And what that's going to do is create a bureaucracy that none of us have ever thought about in our healthcare decisions, and it's going to, in my opinion, be a detriment to our ability to seek medical treatment where and when we need to.
Where's the medical community falling on this? I haven't read a lot about what they're saying. What are you hearing?
Well, the majority of the medical community wants to repeal and replace Obamacare. I think it's ironic that I've been endorsed by many different medical groups, including the American Medical Association.
And
a lot of people in the medical community. Is that the kind of thing you're hearing, or are you hearing just the opposite?
My family is more leaning towards the Affordable Health Care Act, but it's not a black and white issue. There are aspects of both sides that need to be meshed.
Just curious as what we're hearing.
Speaking of family, though, your wife must be doing the single parenting thing while you crisscross the state. So how is this going to impact? How do you plan to keep some normalcy at home?
Well, we're trying our best, but I've been working for a member of Congress before, so, being gone is nothing new. And as a matter of fact, where I'm located in this district, I'm only about an hour and 15 minutes from here, and an hour and 15 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes from the far southwestern portion of the district. So it's pretty easy for me to find as much of a balance as possible. I also try to keep a balance. I coach my kids' football games still and get to as many practices as I can. We had one this weekend where it got rained out right into the third quarter, and we were tied 8-8. But we were 2-0 before that. So the kids have been responding well. But we balance the schedule, balance the time, and provide that opportunity for the kids and me and my wife to be a family on a regular basis. They get to come to the parades with me. They get to come to the events, and they're having a blast. But, it is tough because you don't have any quantity time with your family anymore.
Sure. Wait, 8-8 football score? I'm confused.
6-point touchdown, 2-point conversion.
Okay, there's my... Okay.
There you go. He's got his coach's hat on right
He
now.
Does.
Yeah, I'll bring my whistle in next time.
Multifaceted candidate.
Republican candidate in the 13th, Rodney Davis. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Dave, thank you. Elizabeth, thank you, too.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.